Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, bienvenidos una vez más a Cuenta de Tres en estas
Johnny, por favor, me tenías que dar el lugar a mí.
Perdón, señor Oscarito, estoy tan acostumbrado a que usted lo haga de mí y no lo puede usted. Entonces, ¿cómo decimos?
Cuenta de Tres.
Sí, señor, Cuenta de Tres ha vuelto a las andanzas con las entrevistas internacionales.
Más internacionales que nunca.
Por supuesto. Y este 2018 arranca con una mega figura, vamos a decir. Ya lo hemos presentado, ya está entre nosotros.
Ya lo hemos anticipado también.
Lo hemos anticipado, así es.
Figura del mundo de la lucha libre, con mucha experiencia en promos independientes, sobre todo en TNA Impact. También lo hemos visto luchando en Fight Forever, en Chile. Actualmente acaba de ganar un nuevo campeonato.
Lo vamos a estar discutiendo con él.
Sí,
también va a incursionar en
va a incursionar en nuestro mundo de los podcasts.
Pero
también.
Lo va a contar él.
Así que vamos a darle un fuerte aplauso y bienvenida a nada más y nada menos que...
Pero lo decimos en inglés, así él también puede.
Lo decimos en
Okay.
English mode. We're very pleased to introduce and give a very warm welcome to Mr. Robbie E.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I understood everything that you just said.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. But we
okay, no, I'm just kidding. I actually didn't understand one word that you said, and I'm hoping that you didn't say anything bad about me.
No, not at all. We just mentioned a little bit of your career, Robbie E. So first of all, welcome to Cuenta de Tres. I believe I hope that is the first time that you make an interview with
people from Argentina.
Yeah, that's somehow strange. And we were talking about your run in TNA, your run now in the independent circuit. You know, Oscar, that Mr. Robbie made and somehow some couple appearance on WWE also.
Oh, I follow Robbie on Twitter.
Really?
Actually, and I am kind of like more up to date to the things that he's been doing recently. But very good that you gave me this information because, to be honest, I didn't even know that AJ Styles was in WWE before. For example, just to give you an example, I didn't even know until
I have had a long wrestling career, and there's a million things that you probably don't know about.
Well, that's our excuse for this interview, Robbie. So, well, first of all, a very difficult question to answer. How are you today?
Well, I am doing good, but I'm tired because I have baby twins that are 16 months old. And, I mean, that's the hardest job I've ever had in my whole life. One's going one way, one's going the other way. I'm chasing them all around. So it's hard having daddy daycare at my house.
Well, first of all, congratulations about it. So it's a new job, being a dad.
Beautiful
Thank you.
I've seen some pictures on social media and very beautiful family. Congratulations.
Speaking about it, and starting the interview, you spoke about your recent, your time of becoming a father. But do you think that you could done your wrestling career being a father?
Could you say that one more time?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I ask you if you could make your wrestling career as you made in your TNA Impact run, maybe now in promotions. I believe promotion has more like flexibility of your time.
But do you think that you could have done being a father could help you to grow professionally as you're now?
You mean would it be easy to be a father with traveling a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we probably would have had to get a nanny because my wife travels a lot too. But, I mean, even the Impact schedule, at times it was heavy and then at times it wasn't that crazy. So I think we would have been able to make do with my family and her family. I think we would have been able to figure it out. But it definitely would have been more of a challenge than it is now.
Mm-hmm. Great. Excellent. Good answer. So, let's continue with some questions. I think maybe we should start a little bit from the beginning for the people here that probably already know you, mostly from seeing on TNA, from some videos that we show about Fight Forever. Can you tell us, Robbie, how does your career started?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, I liked wrestling like anyone else. My older brother liked it, so I liked it. And, all through my childhood, I was telling everybody I was going to do it, and nobody believed me because I was so small. And right when I turned 16, I had my parents' signature, and I was able to join a wrestling school that was local to my house. And I joined with a few of my best friends, and they quit before the first match. I survived. I did independence for 10 years, and then I signed a contract with TNA, and the rest is history.
Great. Let me hey, here's one of the questions that the people from Facebook from who in this case is Gonzalo Herrera. He's asking, one of the questions that he made was if you ever been in a Japanese wrestling promotion.
Yes, I wrestled a few times for Wrestle One, and then I just this year I did a tour of Noah in Japan.
Okay, great. And what about this is another question from Gonzalo. From all the titles that you gain, including probably the one that you just got recently, which one was the one that you liked the most in everything, in the promotion or the design itself?
I would say when I first got the TNA, winning the X-Division title meant a lot, but then also when I got the tag team titles as the Bromans, once at Bound for Glory and once at a one-night only pay-per-view in Japan, that meant a lot. I would say equal. X-Division title and tag team titles were both, very meaningful to me.
Perfect. Well, now that you spoke about TNA, that the titles, now you're seeing like somehow far from the core of TNA. So my question is, what do you think about the current product of Impact right now? Well, what do you think about the change that suffer in this time?
I just think, things happen, money happens, and the company lost a lot of money. So, it is what it is. They're not going to be able to afford certain talent and afford, the show to look a certain way. But the guys there are still all awesome. More power to them. And it's still a place for people to work and make money. So I wish it all the best. But, if you ask me if it's the same place that I worked, it's not. When I joined Impact, almost 8 years ago, it was a completely different place than it is now. I don't even consider it the same.
Mm-hmm. And in that case, what do you think was the key of successful in that time of TNA, making competition with WWE in that case, and what will be the key to success of Impact right now for you?
Well, I think the main factor that made it competition back then was, number one, money. They had a lot of money to go around, which means they could afford really good talent. And, they went on the road and they went live. They can't do that anymore. And then also just back then, there were still ways to stand out in wrestling. They were doing things that weren't done before. They had talent that wasn't seen before. The X-Division was new and fresh. But now, in 2018, with NXT and 205 Live and SmackDown Live and Evolve and Ring of Honor blowing up again and PWG and all these other places, there's really no way to stand out, and TNA just kind of blends in with all of them. And it's going to really be hard nowadays for any wrestling company to compete with WWE because there's just so many competing under them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
One question from myself, actually. What do you think about this new movement, the most recent movement of the WWE, bringing wrestlers from promotions that probably 10 years ago wouldn't probably hire, like wrestlers from Japan or from Ring of Honor. What do you think about this?
I mean, it's 2018. The business is changing. Triple H is, up top and in charge, and he's, he knows that you got to kind of keep up with the times. And if that core group of fans they could get from those places to watch WWE, I guess he figures it doesn't hurt. And they offer a variety of different things, So Raw's one kind of show, 205 Live's one kind of show, NXT's one kind of show. So I just feel like they want to get all the talent from all over the world and scoop everybody up. So, I mean, I guess it's a smart move for the time being, right? But it is pretty crazy when you think about it because, like you said, years ago, I mean, this stuff would have been unheard of up there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right, thank you. And I have one question that actually several people on Facebook made it. Gonzalo as well as Martin Rojas asked the same question. Who is the wrestler that you would like to face in all the world? In other words, your dream match.
I've been asked that a lot, and I know it's hard. You mean current wrestler, or they could be dead or alive or anything?
Okay, let's do with a little spicy. Both dead wrestler and live one.
Um, I mean, I guess, like, when I was a little kid, I mean, like 4 years old, and I was a child growing up, my favorite wrestler was the Ultimate Warrior. So I guess it would be pretty cool to wrestle him, so I could wrestle my childhood hero.
Sure.
But then as far as, like, testing myself against someone that I thought was the best in the ring, I would love to wrestle Shawn Michaels.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, and speaking about, I believe, someone that you know a little bit, what do you think about the current championship run of AJ Styles in the WWE, and why you think that he had such a successful in there?
Well, number one, he deserves everything he's getting because he's one of the greatest humans that there is. He's just a super nice guy. He's got no ego. He wants to help everybody and do what's right for wrestling. So he's a good dude. He deserves everything he's getting. But, I mean, on top of that, I mean, have you ever watched him wrestle? He is freaking the best. He never has a bad match, and he never even has a good match. He always has great matches. Everything he does, he turns to gold. And, I mean, he deserves everything he's getting. It was just a matter of time until he went to WWE, until, he became such a big star there.
Perfect. Perfect. So, now speaking about Robbie E, because we were just speaking about the current time of the wrestling, but Robbie, maybe not know our fans know about your start of the career. You say a little bit of your first contact of wrestling, but we can you can teach to our fans about your beginnings in New Jersey. So, what would you talk about it?
I mean, I did independence, which, small shows in my area, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And, there was no money. It was just hustling and trying to get my name out there. And I just did it, all around until I got a break. Throughout those 10 years, I had a lot of tryouts and dark matches and jobber matches with WWE and TNA, just hoping that they would sign me to a full-time contract. And then, eventually it happened with TNA. But, I was just working the minor leagues like so many other guys were, just waiting for a break.
Good.
Okay, good. And I just was going to say that it's really important to hear these stories because some of the people that are listening to us to this are training to be wrestlers. This is very important because we never had in Argentina such a big generation of wrestlers in training, so it's very important to hear any advice from the professionals that they see on TV, on internet. So this is very
well. It's not for them listening. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to work hard and you got to stick with it. And like I said, it took me 10 years. So don't give up. Just hang in there and just study, and train. Don't stop wanting to get better.
Good. Perfect advice.
There you got it, guys. Guys and girls, now you know it.
So, Robbie, you also spoke about, your start of independent circuit in, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and now you are returning somehow to that circuit, the independent one. So, what would you see are as the changes of the independent circuit back then to right now? I mean, what change you are seeing over there?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. The same people are running shows, the same kind of stuff's going on. I will tell you what's different, and it's not just here, it's everywhere. It's just a lot of wrestlers are losing respect as far as shaking guys' hands and respecting veterans. And, a lot of young guys come in and, kind of just take charge a little bit more in like a rude way. There's not enough respect in the locker room. And, psychology is kind of getting thrown out the window. I mean, like I said, wrestling's changing. So there's just a lot more egos and not, friendships in the locker room like there used to be.
Wow. So, Well, in that case, why do you think the fans are turning to the independent circuit rather than WWE? Because we read a lot about some comments of the fans saying that WWE is sometimes making boring moves in television. What do you think about that? Do you watch wrestling? Do you follow it? How can you describe the current product or the current leading product that
Um,
is WWE right now?
I mean, there's still a lot of good stuff on there. They have the best talent. I think it's just, again, I keep repeating it, but I mean, in 2018, there's just so much wrestling. It's kind of like just hard to watch it all. So I think a lot of people aren't fully invested because there's so many shows. So they're fast forwarding through stuff, or it's just they're kind of oversaturated with wrestling where they can't really put their focus towards it. Um, and it's just kind of hard for something to be like, how could a show be so great when there's 8 shows in a week and they're all trying to be great? Like, why is one better than the other? I think it's just too much wrestling and too many wrestlers, and it's kind of just killing it.
I agree with Robbie actually, because that was my feeling when WWE started separating brands. They were trying both to be great, and I say no, do something all together. I mean, like you used to do before. So okay, so I agree with you, Robbie, and that was back then. Now I have the same feeling. Um, Sorry, Johnny, do you want? Okay, so Robbie, continue talking about yourself and about your most recent announcement on your Twitter. Can you tell us a little bit about why it ended and what it's going to be about?
Yeah, so basically, I've signed with MLW, which is the biggest podcast network for wrestling that there is, and I'm going to be a weekly podcast on Wednesdays called Why It Ended. That's basically going to have wrestlers on telling their story of why their career ended, and it's going to be people that you haven't heard their stories before, people that you forgot about, people that were in WWE or WCW or ECW for maybe a month or 6 months or a year, just names where you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy, whatever happened to him, and you're going to find out, I just find so many wrestlers are on the same podcast telling the same stories. So I'm trying to find different stories and some entertaining stuff. And so far, what we've got in the first few episodes lined up, I think people are going to be really happy with.
Wow,
Okay, we're going to keep
going
an
to
eye on that in order to see what's going on. So
Please do.
yeah, sure. So let's talk about. I believe it's important to talk indeed more about your time in TNA. What what can you tell about like being part of the X-Division, for example, that it, as you said, what is like a huge impact in the wrestling world? What do you say
Um,
about it? I mean, we do not see so such impact in from time to time in the wrestling business. So, what do you think about that impact for precisely?
well, I think the X Division was great because it was so different and it was ahead of its time, really. Now everyone's wrestling that style, and those guys were doing it before anyone was. So getting brought into TNA and going right into X Division, winning the title was huge. But the funny thing about it is that's not really my style, nor was it ever. So I didn't really fit in that well. Even though I could wrestle with all those guys, I sure didn't do flips or any crazy stuff like that. So it was pretty ironic that I ended up being an X Division champion and so quick. But as far as the division as a whole, I mean, so many guys have been in the X Division that have went on to be big superstars, like Jay Lethal, and Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles, and the list goes on and on and on. So if you really go back in time to the beginning of it, it's pretty crazy where it ended up. I think when it started, no one thought it was going to be as big as it was.
All right, awesome. And what about your time here in Latin America? You had a chance to wrestle in Chile. That's where we saw you actually for the first time live. What can you say? What could you say about the difference between the American audience and the Latin America audience? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts about
Well,
that?
well, I think the fact that the South America audience, they don't get wrestling as much as America. So I think when they do get it, they're very appreciative of it. So I mean, you guys are some crazy fans. I mean, you guys were chanting Sakawi at me. I thought it was a good thing. I was running around. Later, I found out that it was a ball sack. And now it turned out that you all love me because I was calling myself a ball sack. So you guys are all insane, and I love it. But your energy is just so fun and cool because you really appreciate what we bring because, you know, it's like Christmas is coming. You know, you only get it once in a while. So I think it's really cool, and I love coming to Chile or anywhere in that area, and I hope I'll be back soon.
What about Argentina? Did you know anything? Honestly, we're not going to offend. Did you know anything about wrestling in Argentina, promotions or wrestlers from here?
Not at all.
No.
Not one.
Okay, but you let us know that you are more than invited to come to Argentina and visit us, and of course, if there's any match, maybe you can. Many people would love to have you here.
Well, you guys make it happen. I want to come.
Well, good, good. But let's do some, make some, how can I say, give Robbie like surprise with the thing that I'm going to tell him. That is, do you remember Giant Gonzalez?
Of course.
Well, he was an Argentinian wrestler, so now you know one Argentinian wrestler.
All right, there you go. Yeah, well, his original name was El Gigante, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, exactly. So, well, that's one the thing that I. But speaking about Chile, tell us the time, as you say, about Sacagawea, where we do remember that in Fight Forever, the event that we able to make with Oscar, we went to see the first live show. So, do you remember exactly when all the fans start to show their papers about Sacagawea section? I mean, it was incredible. What was your thought about this, making such impact over there?
Well, like I said, it's pretty crazy that the fact that I was calling myself a ball sack makes the people like me. So, and then when I came a show or two later and everyone has a sign that says Sacagawea section in the audience, yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. It made me smile. And every time I went to Chile, because I've wrestled there a handful of times, I always looked forward to it. And I told everyone how great it was back home and how I was always looking forward to my next time to come. So I already missed all the Sacagawea fans. They're crazy. So I can't wait to see what crazy thing they do when I come back.
I hope we have the chance to see again you in Chile again, Robbie. And what is the future of Robbie E right now? I mean, we know that recently won a championship. You continue your journey, your wrestling journey for the independent circuit. What do you have on your agenda? Yeah.
Well, I'm 34 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life. I have a beautiful family. I'm doing a lot of fitness things with my kids and stuff for Muscle and Fitness, which is huge. I got this new podcast gig going on. But, I still love wrestling, and I want to be a part of it full time. So there will be some stuff that'll be on the horizon in 2018. And you just got to keep your eyes open. But you have not seen the last of Robbie E on your television, I'll tell you that much.
Wow, perfect. Awesome. Do you think that you can manage, again, a full wrestling agenda, or that time has passed?
No, I could. I definitely could. Like I said, I'm in the best shape of my life. And, I have a great wife who's willing to, coordinate with me for whatever my travel schedule ends up being, like she has for the past few years. And, we would make it work. Plus, my kids would love to watch me on TV.
Perfect. Okay.
There was one question that I would like to do before we finish this interview from Francisco Leno. And he asks you, Robbie, why are you so pretty?
Well, I mean, I was born that way for starters, but I also take care of myself. Right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm doing all my night stuff because it's nighttime here, and I'm putting all my face creams on and everything, and, I regularly tan and get my hair cut, and I even get Botox, man. I'm getting old. I'm 34. I got to take care of my wrinkles, so I'm just on top of my game cosmetically. What can I say?
Yeah, good. Francisco, there is your answer.
Yeah, sure. Okay, before we end, we like to give you a little present. In this case, it's going to be like a virtual present. I will send you something. We will show you like in this video audio interview,
We're going to add the
show
the picture and the video.
Yeah, we're going to show it, but we want to know what you think about the thing that I'm going to send you right away via, in this case, the messenger of Facebook.
Okay, you work it out.
Yeah, I'm sending it. I think that you already received it.
Let's see. Yo, that's awesome.
Okay, perfect.
That is really, really cool. Who drew that?
It's a guy of part of Cuenta
team.
So
yeah, it's not here right now.
No,
it's not even in the city, but
yeah, he's
got a lot of talent.
This stuff of drawing. So well, this is our little present for you. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you can share it with you in your
your social media.
Yeah, your social media in order to
Yeah, I will post it on my Instagram, please. That is super cool. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Perfect. So, okay, before we end, we like to first of all thank Robbie for his time.
Yes.
We are gladly.
We're glad to make even though we have all the difficulties we have, we made a pretty good interview. Robbie, this is something that we do basically because we love wrestling and we like to share what we like with the rest of the people, and also to make the fandom here in Argentina to grow more and more. That's why it's important for our listeners to listen to professionals like you. And also, there is one thing that the way we do the closure for our show is always we give the microphone, this symbolically, we give the microphone to the guest, and we let him or her say whatever they want. So the microphone is yours. Whatever you want to share with the audience, please go ahead.
No, just really, just information about myself. Follow me on Twitter at Robbie E Impact. Follow me on Instagram. I'm Real Robbie E. And then Tuesdays on Fight TV, the app, you could download it, watch my show, The Real Robbie E. And then Wednesdays on the MLW Network, starting this Wednesday, listen to my podcast, Why It Ended. And that's it, man. Just Facebook, like my stuff, share my stuff, retweet my stuff on Twitter, like my stuff on Instagram. Just stay in contact with me. And I appreciate all my fans. And that's it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Well, I think this will be Johnny.
No, say thanks to Robbie for his time, for to understand our difficulties today.
Exactly.
But
and we are looking forward to see you again live.
Hopefully soon
again in Chile. Chile was our Fight Forever was our first event, international live event.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, and one of the first that we covered also. So okay, Robbie, thank you very much for your time again. We are going to share this on the social media. We're gonna make sure to share your social media as well, your projects, and I think we're going to do the closure in Spanish. Okay, so if maybe you won't understand us, maybe yes, we don't know. I still don't trust you. Maybe you can understand us. We're going to thank you one more time, and now we switch back to Spanish. Okay, John?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, esto ha sido una increíble entrevista con Robbie, una persona, como he dicho, que ha estado en diferentes contextos, TNA, WWE, en todo el ámbito independiente, Fight Forever,
wrestling.
Y de alguna manera ha estado en Japón, así que de esta manera creo que es una persona y ha dicho cosas muy interesantes para que la gente, no solo los fanáticos, sino los luchadores también de aquí puedan
aprender, tomar base de
ha
todo
gustado
esto.
de su dibujo, así que bueno, esperemos
y respondió las preguntas del público, así que
estamos
esperemos que también nuestros oyentes lo estén. Así que bueno, terminamos entonces con esta edición. Es bueno estar de vuelta. Terminamos con esta edición de Cuenta de 3, así que nos despedimos diciéndole muy buenas noches, muy buenos días, muy buenas mañanas, que no,
buenos todos.
Buenos todos, entonces, y será hasta otra edición de
Cuenta de 3.
Chau.